Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today I'm going to be going over 15 players that you should avoid for your Game Week 1 team. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment how is your Game Week 1 team shaping up, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, just want to make this adamantly clear that this is not a Game Week 1 draft. This is just 15 players that should not be in your Game Week 1 team for one reason or another. I'm going to be going over why none of these players should be in your team. Starting off in goal, we have Pope and Alisson. So Pope, of course, just signed for Newcastle. They have some okay fixtures at the start of the season. He should be their number one now, pushing Dubravka into the second spot for the goalkeepers. But yeah, Forest and Brighton, obviously two nice fixtures to start things off with, but then they've got City and Liverpool in Game Week 3 and Game Week 5. And also, the biggest thing is he's 5 mil. You can easily go for a better keeper with that price. Like, Mendy is, I think, a much better option than Pope this season. I mean, for the first, like, 20 game weeks, you just don't even have to worry about him. The only tough fixtures they really have are Liverpool and Tottenham, and apart from that, it's just a sea of green. So, yeah, for the same price, you can go for Mendy. I mean, it is all dependent as well if you've got 3 Chelsea outfield players, like if you've got, I don't know, Mount, Chilwell, and James, for example. Obviously, you can't have Mendy. But then there's still 4.5 mil option goalkeepers as well, like Raya, Pickford, Henderson, any players like that. So yeah, for me, I just don't think you should have Pope at all. Mendy 100% more if you're gonna be spending 5 mil on a keeper. If not, and you already have 3 outfield Chelsea players, I still think that a 4.5 keeper would be a better option than Pope. And then Alisson 5.5. Of course, really nice to have that Liverpool the player at the back there, but if you do have Alisson, it does cut one of your Liverpool players out, and a lot of people are going for, I don't know, Trent, Robertson, Salah, Trent, Diaz, Salah, Robertson, Diaz, Salah. Like, you don't really need Alisson there. It's just kind of setting you back by making you lose one of those Liverpool spots. And like I say, a lot of people are going into Game Week 1 with 3 Liverpool players. So yeah, for 5.5 mil, Alisson, obviously a really good goalkeeper, but don't think you should have him in your team at all. It really is just going to hurt the rest of your team not being able to have 3 Liverpool players. And you don't really want to be wasting goalkeeper transfers later on in the season as well. The only time you really want to get rid of goalkeepers is during wildcards, and then obviously on free hits and stuff like that. So yeah, they're the goalkeepers that you should not have in your Game Week 1 team. At the back, we've got Perisic, Spence, White, Thiago Silva, and Alonso. So let me go over my reasoning. As to why Perisic should not be in your Game Week 1 squad. Just simply the fact that they've got so many options now at that right wing back role or right back role. They've obviously got Perisic, they've got Doherty, they've just brought in Spence as well. As well as that, Perisic is only going to get like a little bit of time pre-season to you know, get some game time and stuff. So I don't think that's going to be enough for Game Week 1. I know he's highly owned, and I know a lot of people are bringing him in and stuff, but I just don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes. I think he's going to be quite a bit of a big rotation risk at the start of the season. Maybe not later on, but with the options of Doherty and Spence as well, if Perisic isn't to full fitness, it's not like Conte doesn't have other like really good options to bring in. So yeah, Perisic, I think for 5.5 mil, there are much better options that you could bring in. Off the top of my head, I know if you could spend another 0.5 and obviously upgrade to like a Reece James or a Chilwell. For 5.5 mil though, you can easily downgrade to a 4.5 player such as Tomiyasu, James Justin, and use that extra mil elsewhere in your team. I don't know, for Perisic for 5.5 when he's going to be a bit of a rotation risk, not for me. Trippier as well, another good option you could bring in. And the other player as well is Spence. He's just been signed by Spurs, but again, going to be quite a bit of a rotation risk. And for 4.5, I'd much rather have someone like Tomiyasu or James Justin or someone like that who is going to get the game time. And yeah, I just don't think Spence is. And you can even downgrade to Nico Williams for Forest, who is only 4 mil. And that'll obviously just give you funds elsewhere. But yeah, I don't think these 2 Spurs players are great to have in your starting 11 for Game Week 1, just simply because there's just such a rotation risk. Next up, Ben White is hopefully going to start. You know, he did have quite a poor end to the season last season, but I don't know. He's just a bit of a boring FPL asset to have. You know, he never scores, he never gets assists. He's only really going to get you points from having like clean sheets. And whereas you've got Tomiyasu, who is the same price, who does get a bit more forward, who should be playing, you know, week in, week out. I just think Tomiyasu is a better option. They're the same price. They play for the same team. I just don't think Ben White is a good option to have when Tomiyasu is right there for the exact same price. And then moving on to Thiago Silva and Alonso, two Chelsea players. And again, I don't think Thiago Silva is going to get a lot of minutes this season now. You know, he's getting on a bit. He's like 37, 38 now. And obviously, Chelsea have just brought in a bunch of new centre-backs. So Thiago Silva is definitely not going to be first choice anymore. And like I say, he's getting on a bit. He's not going to be playing every single game. He might play the odd one, but he might just be stuck to like playing cup games and stuff like that. And the same with Alonso, really. Not that he's like getting older, but obviously Chilwell is back now. Chilwell is going to be the first choice. So yeah, I don't think Alonso is going to get a lot of game time. Alonso was fun to have last season. I brought him in. He got quite a few double-digit returns. Was really nice to own, but obviously Chilwell was injured all of last season. So, yeah, now that Chilwell is back, I just think that Alonso is definitely going to move down the pecking order a bit. So that's 5 defenders that you probably shouldn't have in your Game Week 1 squad. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on Perisic, but I just think that he's going to be such a rotation risk. I think that he didn't play like 60 minutes in a lot of games as well. The last couple of seasons, of course, he's older now as well. So I just think there's so much doubt for Perisic. And I know he's 37.8% owned, but for me, there's better options around that price, maybe a little bit cheaper. And again, if you do downgrade to a 4.5, that'll save you a mil for elsewhere into your team. In midfield, we have Zaha, Ward-Prowse, Gallagher, Coutinho, and Ødegaard. So Zaha, I mean, he's a good player, and maybe like later on in the season you think about bringing him in, but I don't think any Crystal Palace player should really be anywhere near your starting lineup for the first few game weeks. They have Arsenal, then Liverpool, and then City in the first 4 game weeks, which is not a good set like run of fixtures at all. Zaha is a nice price of 7 mil, is on penalties and stuff, and maybe later on in the season you bring him in, potentially around game week 12 where they have just that sea of green fixtures. But for the start of the season, I don't really think you should be going anywhere near him. And again, that's just not Zaha, that is just any Crystal Palace players. So like Eze, Elisa, any players like that. I just don't think Crystal Palace assets are worth it at the moment. Ward-Prowse up next, 6.5. And again, on set pieces, has a ridiculous free kick, but at the same time, the fixtures at the start of the season just not too good. Tottenham, Leicester, United, Chelsea. I don't think you should be going anywhere near any Southampton assets as well. Not because they're bad players, just because the fixtures aren't worth it. And for 6.5, you know, you have the likes of Rashford, who's the same price. You could downgrade to a Martinelli, who's 6 mil. You could downgrade to Newcastle's Bruno for 6 mil. Yeah, I just don't think Zaha or Ward-Prowse for those price fixtures prices are really worth it. Gallagher as well seems to be impressing pre-season, but it's gonna be like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes. I think he is going to be rotated quite heavily. There is a lot of competition in that Chelsea midfield. And I know that Chelsea do have a really nice run of fixtures at the start. And 6 mil, he's going to show, like, I think to a lot of the new players, he's going to show up as like one of Chelsea's best scoring players last season, just because of how well he did for Crystal Palace. But I think that for 6 mil, again, better options. You could downgrade to a Neto. You could go for a Martinelli. And again, they shouldn't be as rotated as much as Gallagher. Might be something to keep an eye on, and then later on in the season, if he is starting every single game, could be an absolute bargain at 6 mil if he is playing week in, week out. But going into game week 1, I don't think you should really put yourself in that position of risking one of your midfielder spots like that. And then Coutinho, another 7 mil player. Villa's fixtures aren't great. You know, I mean, they start off really nice, but then they have West Ham, Arsenal, City, and Leicester all back-to-back. So, yeah, a sea of red there for Coutinho. But, I mean, obviously when he first joined Villa, it was on fire. But at the end, towards the end of the season, he was rotated quite a bit. You know, there's a lot more competition now in that Villa midfield with the signings that they're bringing in. I just think for 7 mil, like I say, better options. You could use that 7 mil and downgrade to a Rashford, upgrade to a Sancho. You know, United players are seemingly getting a little bit more sought after now because of they're just playing really good football pre-season. I know it's just pre-season games, but you have to appreciate the football they're playing. I've seen some of the goals that they have been scoring, and yeah, United just seem to be really hitting the ground running. So yeah, exciting to see what happens with obviously United going into the season. But yeah, Martial, Sancho, and Rashford, I think a lot of people will be turning their heads at them now if their pre-season form carries on like that. And then also Ødegaard as well, 6.5. Sometimes plays as like a CDM, and yeah, I know that they have a really good run of fixtures at the start of the game, but at the start of the season, but you could easily downgrade to a Martinelli who's 6 mil. Martinelli could potentially be on pens. I just think that with Martinelli there, he's a better option than Ødegaard, and again, for 6.5 mil, you could use that money elsewhere. So that's all of the midfielders I think you should avoid. And then up top, we have the new Liverpool striker, Darwin. Again, I mean, I feel like he's getting a lot of stick online. He hasn't been playing great from what I've seen from the highlights, but for 9 mil, I don't think you should be going anywhere near him. He's not proven in the Premier League. There's much better players around that price point. You can easily go down to Jesus, who is Premier League proven, having a really good preseason, could potentially be on penalties, is going to play every single game for Arsenal. So yeah, it'll save you an extra mil. And yeah, like I say, Darwin not proven at all in the Premier League. You just have to see what happened to Werner a couple seasons back when everyone brought him in, because obviously he played really well in the Bundesliga, did not hit the ground running at all. I guess the same could be seen for Haaland, but I don't know. The difference is Haaland, his goals to games ratio is just ridiculous. Like, he is just a ridiculous player. Darwin, not so much. So again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think he's going to be bad this season. I just think he isn't going to get as many goals as people are expecting. Maybe like under 10 or something. We'll have to see what happens. And of course, could also be rotated as well with the likes of Diogo Jota and Firmino and stuff like that. Next up, Nketiah, of course, really good option last season. He was a really good striker to bring in. Has just obviously signed that new deal with Arsenal. But now that Jesus has been brought, who again is going to be starting more than Nketiah, I think Nketiah is just going to be an impact sub, and he'll just come on and like play minutes here and there. I don't think he's going to be starting every single game, and for 7 mil as well, not worth it in my opinion. And then finishing things off, Ronaldo as well, another player that you should probably, I mean, whether he's even going to be at United at the start of the season or not, I'm not too sure. But at the same time, I don't think he's really going to fit into the new manager's plans. It doesn't really seem like he wants to be at United at all. You know, he is pushing to leave because he wants to play Champions League football. And yeah, I mean, obviously 10.5 is a nice price for Ronaldo, but at the same time, I just don't think he's worth it this season at all. And again, he might not even be at United by the start of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that is 15 players that you should avoid for Game Week 1 for the 2022-23 season. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 50 likes. Leave a comment. What other players should you think about avoiding for the start of the season? I might make another video like this, going over players that you should definitely have in your team. Maybe it might be quite a template, but either way, it's just a different fun video to do. But either way, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're brand new. So close to 3,000 subs now, which is kind of crazy. Thank you so much. But yeah, until next time, have a great day and peace.